Y'all ready? You know, Abigail, you can be real petty. Why did you choose that song that we went off air on? Did it have something to do with this conversation is going to be about?
You know, I always want things to coordinate. I'm a coordinator.
You are a coordinator. Okay, and you did that.
Was Saving All My Love for You by Whitney Houston, because we are saving all of our love for that special one.
Okay, y'all know what we talking about?
Is that right?
That's the hey.
right.
We ain't playing no
That's
more
what it
games
is.
out here no more. It is a celibate or over it. And we're gonna do the acronym and we're gonna get this show going. Brother Carter put his shades on because he don't want y'all to see his eyes.
I ain't Sullivan. I ain't Sullivan.
You ain't Sullivan.
No,
You ain't Sullivan
I
at
ain't
all. You ain't saving none of your love. Huh? All righty then. Come on with this acronym.
So the acronym of the day is, of course, to set the tone for the show, give us something to go off of. So for today's conversation, celibate or over it, we went with the word discipline as the word of the day. So D is for discerning, having keen insight and good judgment.
Ooh.
I is for impactful, having significant or powerful effect. S is for steadfast, firm and unwavering in beliefs and principles.
And unmovable.
C is for careful, done with or showing thought and attention. Done with or showing thought and attention. I is for impetuous.
Impetuous.
I knew you'd like that word. Acting impulsively. P is for patient, able to remain calm and tolerant, especially in difficult circumstances. L is for lecherous. I think that's how you say that. Showing excessive or offensive sexual desire or behavior.
Wait a minute. Now you can't have that and be celebrate.
You can have the desire.
You can have the desire. Your desire don't go no
it.
way.
All
We're gonna learn about all that
Discipline
today. Hold on. Come on.
What did I say? I coordinate. I is for industrious, hardworking, and diligent in one's endeavors. N is for notable, worthy of attention or recognition due to significant achievements, because we all know it's hard sometimes. E is for elusive, hard to find or catch. And that is discipline, our acronym of the day.
Well, y'all. Are y'all ready for this conversation?
I guess it will take a great deal of discipline to I know I'm gonna struggle with that word. Celebrate.
Abstain.
So we gonna talk. We can't confuse the two, and so we're gonna go ahead and break this down. So celibate, being celibate, and abstaining.
So what is celibate? What does being celibate mean? What does that mean, Tierra?
Go ahead.
So to be celibate is to not engage in sex, and also not having no intention to marry also. So
give an example.
So for instance, like priests have a vow of celibacy. They are not to marry, and they're also, of course, with that, also not to have sex. So their commitment is, I'm going to do my priestly duties, and I'm not going to be distracted by marriage, which would involve sex.
We're going to get to
that. But to
abstain
abstain is to withhold for usually a period of time.
So you're doing that. So when you're abstaining, you're doing that not to what is the word? Like punish someone. But you're doing that for yourself. Something that you're trying to get out of this. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So, and then of course in a spiritual context,
that's what
you're doing it to honor God with your body.
Or just your morality spiritually, as a Christian.
Okay,
I've
yeah.
always used those two words interchangeably.
Most people do.
Yes.
They overlap.
Yeah, so I really thank you for like bringing that to my attention too, because I always just use them interchangeably, thinking because I've heard people say, "Oh, I'm celibate," but they just mean for a while. Like,
Right.
I just don't want to worry about relationships or sex right now.
Yeah.
But that is my intention later on in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the main intent, I think, was to just, focus your time on God or something like that when you're being celibate.
Sometimes
No.
I think it can be
No.
for other
When
reasons
you-
too.
Absent.
No.
Celibate.
To abstain
Well,
from sex is to spend more time with God, consecrating
Well, it's just
on
living.
your
It's living
spiritual
your
growth.
life.
Living your life.
It's you still
Well,
living
we
your
gonna
life.
get there. They gonna go. Hold on, yeah.
I'm just
We
trying
gonna
to
get there.
find out.
Oh, we're not gonna jump ahead. We gonna get there, baby. Watch this here. So these two ladies over here, we actually have someone in the house that are actually
They practice
they're
celibacy.
actually look at these lovely ladies. Look at them. They're actually in that. I want to say that's where they're at right now, and so they can really speak to how it affected them when they first
Y'all
got in
some
it.
young women.
Brother Carter, let me
Wait a minute now. You
Brother
got
Carter.
these young, beautiful women.
It ain't
saying that-
everything ain't about sex. It's see that's the problem. That's the man. That's from a man.
When did that happen?
Brother Carter, brother. So these ladies can really talk about how it was when they first got in it. Making that decision. Did they question themselves? Were there times when they felt like, oh, I can't do this?
Is this
It's too
something you
rough.
get into or just something
No. When they make a decision to do,
to
Brother
practice?
Carter, if you
I'm trying to understand.
well, if you
sister.
would just give us a chance, we're gonna get you
Okay.
there.
All
Okay. We're gonna get you there. So I really want to ask, I'm gonna start off with this question with Christina.
Mhm.
I think you're a little older, a little more mature than Bria. I don't mean older. I mean a little more mature than Tierra. Okay. So what okay.
No, I don't think so.
That's
childish,
she's very childish. It had nothing to do with age.
Because age has nothing to do
It has
with
nothing to
maturity.
do with it.
Our brother Carter cut
Yeah.
the words up.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Make it look good. I just keep going with it.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, Christina, when you made that decision, did you make that decision? Are you a virgin? I'm just going to ask you. Are you a virgin?
No, I have a son. He'll be 19.
I
in
just
like
needed you to
2
tell the
weeks.
people. Look in the camera and tell the truth.
Yeah, I was out here living a sinful life.
Okay.
Or whatever. I have a son, 18. I've had sex since I was 16 years old, and been having sex consistently up until 3 years. It's probably almost 3.5 years, 3.25.
You ain't had none
Probably
in 3 years?
Mm-mm.
Girl.
I know, right?
He's
Girl,
around.
And I've
I'm not don't even hug you no more.
right. Sometimes certain men, I remember one time I was on a podcast up in here, and there was a certain man look at me, don't touch me like that. It's been a long time. Like, don't touch me. Some men just come and,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Don't get too close. I'm not.
Now, when you tell a man that, that's gonna just perk his interest.
Right, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But it ain't about him. It's
right,
about
yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah.
I understand, but the pursuit.
Because some of them think you're playing.
Yeah, and now that's
No, some of them want to be the one to break that.
right. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you, but that's your
Yeah.
fight. That's your battle against God. You're
Right.
never-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how I started with it. I mean, because I wasn't having sex like all the time because I had to be in like a relationship in order for me to be
So
sexually
you wasn't
active.
you just wasn't out there.
I wasn't just out there
swinging it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, if I was dealing with somebody meaningful and I thought we had potential, I was having sex with them thinking it was okay
It was
and everything like that.
Mhm.
But when I fully gave my life to God, and it was like, okay, I had this life coach at the time, and she was like, okay, do you truly want to live for God? Do you truly want to give your life to God? And I was like, yeah, of course. I want to be a woman of God. I want to do this, da, da, da.
Mhm.
And she was like, are you sure? And she kept asking me that,
Mhm.
like really seriously. And I was like, yeah, girl, I'm ready.
Mhm.
And she was like, okay. Fast forward 2 years. And I'm like, God dang it, this is what she was talking about.
Yeah, because it gets.
This is what she was talking about because
Mhm.
you're required to do certain things.
Mm.
You're required to live a certain standard. And when I was in church last week, the pastor was talking about that. He said, a lot of people be like, oh, I'm absent. It's like, I've been doing this, and oh, I don't do this. I don't drink, da, da, da. But he was like, that's your standard. You think it's up here,
but
this is your standard.
Yeah.
Like, as a Christian, as a person who have relationship with God, who carry the Holy Spirit, this is your standard.
So good.
And I was just like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, this I'm supposed to be doing. So no more pats on the back for me, But,
yeah, you're not sitting over here trying to,
Now, do you tell people that you are practicing?
Now that's where it's come, where it's difficult. Like, we can have these conversations and I'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to dating a guy, because I just started back dating, probably within the past 2 months.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Because here's what she was doing. She was saying, hidden away and saying, I'm just not, I'm hiding away because ain't nothing, ain't nothing not, well, baby, they can't see you. What you hiding for? You got to trust where you're going.
Right. Trust the process. And then you definitely gave me something one day when you were telling me, you got to trust what God then put in you. You've been through, what you had to go through with him, with refining you. And granted, I'm still going through it. But it's like, trust the house that he built.
Yeah.
And just trust that you're not going to go back to your old self. And I was like, that really spoke to me on the inside,
So good.
So thank you.
No.
You always drop them jewels. I'll be like, oh, every time. Yeah. And so it made me see like, you can date. It's okay. It's okay. Of course, I had my time when I had to stop dating. Me and
because
God
you had to get some discipline.
I had to get some discipline. I had to unlearn a lot of things, as we talked about before. Just with toxicity, my ways of thinking when it came to dating and relationships and men. I had to, change all of that and just allow God to work on me. So now I feel, more comfortable with dating. But now it's that hard part is like to tell these people.
You gotta be very honest with them.
Yeah, I had a situation last night. I was supposed to meet this guy. And it was just like a random thing, but he was like, come over. And I was like, oh, come over. I was like,
what time was it?
I was working last night. So it was around 6 or something. So he was saying, I was like, well, I don't get off to 10:30. I probably won't get off to 10:30. I can come, see you. I can pass by you, whatever. Because we stay like probably 5 minutes from each other walking distance.
Yes.
And this will be our first time meeting up. And he was like, just come over here. We can chill, talk, and whatever. Da, da, da. I was like, and I be wanting to say, I'm a Christian, sir. But that ain't no way. Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. That don't hold no way. What you mean? I'm a Christian too. I love the Lord, baby.
I love the Lord, and he heard my cry.
Right.
And I want to make you cry too.
Right. Look at me.
Oh, I love that you're so candid about that. But now I'm going to turn it to.
Well, wait before you turn to Tierra. I got a question concerning because she's in the dating field right now.
But they both are.
I know, but we're talking to Christina right now.
Get her.
And so Christina, so that's gonna come this time where this guy wanna touch you.
No, we gonna get there. Don't you getting in front of the show, baby?
Well, I'm gonna just sit back because I ain't Ed Celibate.
What's his name? You ain't what? Oh, wait. Are you talking about a person or are you?
No, Celibate. That's Celibate.
Oh, you not Celibate.
We're gonna add that to the Brother dictionary.
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't even catch that. I didn't catch that.
Y'all knew what he was saying.
No. Don't be laughing at my husband. Y'all
I ain't celibate.
You ain't celibate.
He said,
so you trying to get some understanding? Ask your question, baby.
No, go ahead. You made me. I'm sitting back. I'm gonna listen to what celibate is.
Okay, so now I'm gonna turn to Tierra, who's a little younger, and
just a little bit,
just a little younger.
That don't mean she's not mature.
Well, just a little younger. Okay. I are you a virgin?
Absolutely not.
Were you a virgin?
Been there,
done that. Okay, so you made this decision.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it.
I had to mess around and find out. So to keep my long story very short,
I love you. I absolutely love you too, ladies, because y'all so honest. Thank you.
And look, when Christina started, because I had been contemplating like, how much am I going to share? And I was like, oh, she set the bar up here.
Yeah, so you can't come down here.
I got to come up.
Yeah.
But long story short, in I think it was like 2016, I was dating someone and I had an encounter with a spirit husband. Didn't know what it was. And
What's a spirit husband?
some people may have heard of an incubus or a succubus spirit.
Come on, girl.
Teach,
look in the camera and teach.
An incubus and a succubus spirit, and it is when a spirit is having sex with you. They've developed a sexual relationship with you. And it was through the guy that I was dating at the time. I remember the moment that the spirit came on me. It felt like electricity had moved through my body. And I was being silly at the time because we was in compromising situations. I was like, oh, this mean that we got sexual chemistry. This is cool.
Yeah.
And then as like months and stuff went by, I realized that he was filled with lust. Spirits travel in groups. It's never just one thing. So he was very lustful, which would also lead to deception and lying and manipulation to ensure that he could have sex here. And then, it's another person and go do something else down the street. And it got to a point where I was extremely lustful. I started to lie to stay 2 steps ahead of him. I started being sneaky. And I remember finally getting to a point where I was talking to one of my old friends. She had left the base. This was when I was still in the military. And when I was talking to her, she was like, T, like, what's going on with you? Like, this is not even you. And I was just like, dang. Like, have I really gone that far? And it was to the point where I was like disgusted with myself, like things that I would have never done, even when he wasn't around. And so I remember one day.
You were like lustrous with other.
No, not with other men, just filled with lust and a lot of self-pleasure, and then doing a lot of things that were very degrading with him, right? And
hold on
don't use your imagination because it didn't go that far. But just things that were degrading because I started off when I was younger. I was the last of my group of friends to lose my virginity. They teased me, oh, you're going to be the 40-year-old virgin. And that was my plan to wait until I got married. So for me, I had fallen very far from what the standard was when I was younger. So one day I remember I was in my room and I cried out to God, and I had fallen very far from him, and I was involved in other stuff, idolatry and stuff too. But I said, God, help me. Like, I don't, this is not fun anymore. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it was a series of events that happened. But I remember I was in trouble with God. I was, because of the idolatry and the other stuff. But he saved me from that spirit. I remember the moment that it left, because it got to the point where I was feeling very tired all day long. I was going to see an oncologist, getting tested for like vitamin D, all of this stuff, being tested for fibromyalgia, lupus, because it didn't matter how early I went to bed, how much coffee I drank. I was tired all the time. And what it was those spirits oppressing me. And I didn't know anything about any of this. I'd gone to church all my life, never understood it in that way. And I remember the moment that night when God delivered me. It wasn't the laying on of hands. It was another friend that was present there. But I remember when I was laying in the bed that night, I felt, like when you have sleep paralysis, you feel like something's laying on top of you.
You can't move.
Right.
Which is right.
I felt that move through my body from my feet to my head, and then it lifted. And then I stopped feeling the heaviness. But then after that, I remember the guy telling me, usually when a woman tells me that she don't want to fool with me no more, I can just leave her alone, but I just can't. Like, if you try to break up with me or leave, I can't sleep. I don't have an appetite. And I didn't realize until later, like, that spirit was tormenting him, like, get back over there, get me back over there to her. And I remember the night after I'd cut him off, I was delivered, but something came in my room, I kid you not, and I felt something heavy sit on me, and it tried to take my hand and make me masturbate in my sleep.
Come on. God.
This is what happened, okay? And I fought with it all night. And then when I woke up the next day, my friend that was staying with me, she was sleeping on the couch, and she has her spiritual sight. I didn't have any understanding of any of it. She was way further along than me at the time. We woke up the next day, and I said, I think I got molested by a demon last night. And she woke up and she was like, girl, she was like, I did see something standing by your room door. She said it was really big. But she said he knew that I could see him. But when I saw him, I didn't feel like going into warfare. So I just rolled over and went back to sleep. And when she said it was really big, I was like, it was heavy. I didn't tell her that. Whatever sat on me was heavy. And so from there, I started to cultivate, again, I've been going to church all my life, but like a real relationship with God. And then even after that, it was another year or two where I'd fallen again before I really realized like, this is not, you need to make a decision that you're going to honor God with your body, not just because this is what the Bible said. I always had a fear behind it that, you know, I remember I experienced a rape. And the first thing that I said to the chaplain, I said, this is what I get because I never should have started having sex outside of marriage. And he was the first person that said, that's not how God works.
God works.
I thought it was a punishment.
You blame yourself.
Yeah. But then I recognized, no, this is God trying to protect me. And at that point, it took me another 2 years. And in 2018, that's when I started being serious about honoring God with my body in that way. And it saved me a lot of trouble. The words that she read off on discipline, discernment, heightened.
Oh God, yeah.
Like it really has made a difference. But that's been my journey. And of course, when you're dating, it's a lot harder.
Yes.
But it's important to me. And it does complicate things when you are dating, because a lot of people, even though it sounds good on paper, that they want to wait. Oh yeah, it's not the same if you've not disciplined yourself and you know what I'm saying? Like I have a different, it's not just I chose, like I got to see the other side of what you welcome in when you choose to compromise yourself in that way.
I love this so much. And I love that you two ladies are so candid and honest, because there is someone out here that needs to hear this, that is going through or even considering this because they are in a place and not really understanding that their body is being used, you know? So I really want to break this down. Lawrence, I hope that Brother Carter, I hope that they kind of help to get this conversation going for you. Okay, great.
Doing good. Yeah.
They're doing real good. So I'm going to ask you guys to put your questions in the, questions and comments in the chat, and we're going to come back to it. My next question is, okay, so now we've made this decision that this is what we're doing. We've had our, we've been with God. We've been prostrated before God. We've asked him for strength and help to get us through this process. So now I'm looking at guys. Guys are wanting to talk to me. How are you guys approaching and having that conversation with guys? Or do you have a conversation?
You mean about?
I'm just not doing it. I don't care how much you rub on my back. We're not going there. Or don't rub on my back.
I really haven't had the conversation yet because I haven't really got to that point in a relationship with somebody.
Okay.
Just like what I was
so
saying.
So you literally have kept yourself away from.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, it never, I haven't experienced anybody to where we're just growing in our dating.
Okay.
One person we were, but of course I didn't really like him like to that extent, but I was giving him a chance,
Yes.
And we were going out to dinner and stuff like that. Nice guy. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see. And after the third dinner, he asked for, he was like, well, maybe we can chill, Netflix and chill. I was
I'm ground. I know what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
But I realized too, we had a age difference, probably about 6 years or whatever. He's 6 years younger than me. And I was like, well, maybe that's it. But I was like, nah. And I wasn't even about to go to the extent to even tell him.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
you weren't
talk
there.
About it. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Tia?
I don't necessarily come out and say it up front, but I'll ask, certain questions like on the first date. Like, well, what's your experience with da-da-da-da-da? Like, are you talking to anybody? What is that like? Or are you sleeping with anybody right now? I ask those kind of questions on the first date to just be kind of candid to know if we need to come back for a second one. But I think I'm pretty upfront with it because I know for most men that is an expectation. So in all fairness to you, if I like you, then I'll let you know.
So let me ask a question. Let's talk about the temptation.
That's what I want to know. What do you do?
I had you.
What do you do with the desire? Because you still desire, right? Just because you abstain or sustain from sexual activity, you still have a desire to have sex, or no? I don't know.
It's a little different. At one point in the beginning, I asked God to take that desire from me. Like, if this is what we're doing, God, take that desire from me, allow me to just only desire my husband after marriage. But yeah, you have those moments, when you think about it and it's just like, or you want to, just have sex with yourself or whatever. You just like, no, I can't do that. Lord, take that desire.
Because that was
you gotta
actually
be careful, like one of the words say, careful and be disciplined.
Yeah, and it's really a discipline.
And it is,
Yeah.
it's a discipline.
And I was actually getting ready to say, because I was talking to a young lady and she said that she was celibate. So then I asked her, I said, oh, okay. So that means you don't do any personal pleasures at all. And she said, oh yeah. I said, well, that's not celibate. Right. So can y'all help me with it? And she looked at me like it was something wrong with me.
It's to me.
Okay.
And I mean,
to each his own.
Look.
Yeah.
We know what the words say though.
Okay,
But
yeah. Okay. So I just want to
you know,
help me there.
I gotta get this out sometime.
No.
No.
It is a discipline.
Yes.
It is a discipline. So you don't get to the point where it's not constantly on your mind, or you don't constantly have this urge and desire if you go and tickle your own fancy, for lack of better terms. And then you expect that when you're dating somebody that you're supposed to maintain the discipline that you've not maintained.
Right.
It's just like, if I'm not eating sweets, I'm not eating sweets.
Right. Because if I eat sweets, it's still open when I go to the party and they got a thing full of sweets up there. I'm going to eat the sweets because I had no discipline.
And a lot of people, you'll be surprised. Well, you probably wouldn't. The number of people that, you know, where it's come up in conversation, they would say like, oh yeah, some people have the grace to do that. Or, you know, God really does call some people to do that. That's great for you.
Right.
But as for me,
that was actually, she went on to say that to me. And she says that, because when I said, oh, well, that's not. And she said, well, that's easy for you to say. You have a husband and, you know, I said, but I'm not trying to practice. I'm only asking you this because this is what you're saying you're doing. And if this is what you're doing, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
But to me, it seems like there should be some discipline there, and that does mean even with yourself there shouldn't be any
no, it shouldn't.
And I love that we broke it down to the food. If I'm trying to lose weight, why am I still going to put all these starches on my plate when it's time to eat, and then I'm going to say I'm losing weight? No.
So you got to treat this like it's an addiction, so to speak.
You just have to treat it like you're honoring God. You know what I'm saying? Like
where's the fear, the reverence,
like the worship to Him, or the glory to Him? Like, God, I'm gonna use this body to glorify You, and I'm gonna stand in that. Like, a lot of people say they love God and they know that God, no, they don't. They don't. I don't care what they say. They don't.
And a lot of people, that's another subject. Don't really know what being a Christian is really.
But it spell it out for you. I don't understand. I don't take that because it spells it out for you.
Okay, well, can you go ahead and spell it out? You know, because I do think that that's important. What does it say?
I mean, it says to refrain from doing that. Sex is meant to worship God in the bedroom and holy matrimony. Like,
yes,
it spells out. Like, just go in Romans. If you can read Romans 1-6, the whole book of Romans, and it's really good. And it'll break it down for you. Like, it'll make you understand. And then God talks about sexual immorality all throughout the Bible as a big sin. What is sexual immorality?
Well, you know, and I want you guys to know that we're not sitting on here on this platform trying to judge anyone.
No,
we're not. But I think this is a needed conversation because there are people that are making decisions because they want to do better. They want to feel better. They want to have a closer relationship with God. And I thought this conversation was really needed, especially today, because there are so many young ladies that are so fluent with their body and sex.
And exactly that they need a release.
They need a release.
I express myself, because I had friends who used to talk like that. You know, this is how I express myself, and I need that release. I have so much built up frustration, but you don't understand how you're actually opening a door for that frustration, that depression, you know, that lust and all kind of things that torment you when it's time, you know, when it's just you. You know, you opening yourself and making yourself vulnerable to those spirits.
Sleep paralysis, all of that left when I stopped.
You understand what you do.
Can you jump in on that? And I appreciate you saying that, but let's talk about, is there anyone out there, and please put it in the comments, is there anyone out there struggling, that is single, struggling with sleeping at night? Is there anyone out there that is going through depression?
That's a whole generation of folks struggling with
sleep. The reason I'm saying that, I really want us to kind of peel back that onion. And and I think it could, because you really lay that out to make it kind of in line with sleep. You know, when you start having sex with someone, you're opening up their spirits to come in with you, which then torment you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
It's just, sex is something that is very spiritual, and I've learned after going through that, you really do become one with the person. So in that situation for me, the spirits that he was struggling with or dealing with became spirits that I struggled with and dealt with. I'm not a person that just be lying and sneaking, but that's what I became in that situation. Because like I said, spirits travel in groups.
So
And
you're dealing with the spirits of the people that he's been with.
Right, because we only focus on STDs and STIs, but spiritually, and a lot of times we don't even have the self-awareness or the gift of discerning of spirits to know that we're being oppressed or possessed by certain spirits when we're dealing with people. And then we have issues in other areas of our life. Like for me, I would have never thought sleeping with this person that I'm dating had anything to do with not having energy all day and having to go get tested at the doctor for fibromyalgia and lupus. I would have never associated the two, but it is a lack of awareness in Christianity in general of the spiritual component of what we believe. God is a spirit. The spirit world is just as real, if not more. Than the physical realm that we live in. And when we engage in sex and we have kind of this casual attitude about sex, the Bible says in the New Testament, food for the belly and belly for the food, but the body is not made for sexual immorality. We liken our appetite for sex the same way that we have an appetite for food, but the word says the body is not made for that. So therefore, you can have the discipline to abstain. God has given us the strength to do it, but a lot of us have not set our mind to it because we are so in our flesh. We are constantly, and that's another part of this journey too. Now. We are constantly watching things on TV, on social media. Everything is soft porn now. It's not like it used to be where things are essential. Like there's literally people that are naked on Instagram. You ain't even got to go to OnlyFans. Right. It's right there in front of you. And we've been so inundated with all of this stuff that we've made it a very casual thing to have sex. It's even certain shows that you watch. Shows are good, and me as a grown 30-something-year-old woman, I be fast forwarding through some of the TV shows because I'm like, I ain't trying to go there with you, right? Because it literally looks like the real thing is happening, but we've made it almost like an appetite, like I need to feed it. But in fact, if God is saying that we are to abstain, that means that you can abstain. Right. He wouldn't say to do it if you couldn't do it.
Oh my God.
Let me put this split plug in right quick. I mean, this is for you single people out there that they're talking about. A married couple don't have to abstain from sex.
No.
Okay.
No, that's the point. Sex is a beautiful, wonderful thing.
Yes. That's a oneness.
That's a oneness.
When you're just with your own individual mate. Okay. So let's make that point.
And can I add too, when we start giving ourselves away, you know, every person that you're dating and stuff, we start to develop these different appetites. That's why we have all of this crazy pornography and people that are practicing, you know,
bestiality.
I was just about to say that with animals, because that lustful spirit, it's an insatiable appetite for things. Then by the time you get with your partner, and this is for men too, because just because you're a man, it does not mean God, the scripture applies to all of us. It is not special people. It is people who choose to obey what the word of God says. And then at some point, the Holy Spirit, you get to a place where every day I'm not thinking about sex. Like it's not even that. It's not like
forefront.
Yeah, like it's not like, oh man, like I feel
gotta
like
have it right now.
I wonder when I'm gonna have like it doesn't become that anymore. Devon Franklin even wrote a book, The Truth About Men, where he was talking about for men the benefits of how locked in and productive you become in your business and your ministry when you're not having sex. We've seen great men fall. Powerful. We respect men that do all of this great work in the community, everywhere else, but sloppy and undisciplined when it comes to sex. Like,
let me tell y'all, this was be deep because I got my executive producer over here waving her hand. She's like, let me in. I got Anna over here like, y'all let me in. Come on, Abigail.
I really liked that Tierra touched on like media consumption.
Yes.
I think you are what you consume.
Yes.
And
you are the company you keep.
You are the company you keep. That goes for food. That goes for media consumption. If you're constantly seeing, I think this kind of goes back into the grapevine that we were talking about too.
Right.
If you're seeing violence, if you're seeing like explicit sexual content, you're going to want, a part of you is going to want to engage in that in some way, in some manner. But I did also have a question for you guys too, because I know you talked about fear and something that like I've considered abstinence before, and something that and I'm kind of like sort of doing it right now.
Wait a minute, how you started doing?
Is that kind of by choice?
Dabbling.
When you be in between men.
Is it just because there's no one there, or because
I'm single right now.
Yes.
The person that I would.
I'm in between partners right now?
No, I have a partner. That person is abstinent, so
Okay.
it kind of
Oh,
made me have to
Really?
be abstinent as well. And so I think for a while I didn't really like the idea of abstinence because it sounded like a fear tactic, right? Like sex is bad, don't have sex. And so, but
It
sex
can
is
also
beautiful.
come off like you're denying me.
But that's self. But
I'm just saying that's another.
That's another way it can come off. Yeah.
To
But
the other person.
I think it also.
I kind of had to look at it differently because honestly, before I met this person, I was thinking that might be something I want to do. Because like much like Tierra, I felt like almost like addicted and like very blinded by my desires and stuff like that. And so when this person came into my life and we started dating, I was like, okay, this feels right because this is already a direction I wanted to go in. And now this is kind of making me look at it from a different way. I never wanted to look at sex as something to be fearful of or that was bad because it's not bad.
It's not.
But how do you think, like, for instance, the church can teach people to have the mindset of waiting for positive reasons rather than for like negative reasons? Like, because I feel like a lot of people say, well, you're going to go to hell. It's a sin. All these things.
They talk at you.
They talk at you rather than like
Really teaching you
that
why
it's
you need to.
beautiful and this is why you should wait because it is a soul tie. You know what I mean? So
And it's a way that you worship to God. Like that's what it was intended for. And a lot of times we just look at the church to teach us these things when we can just ask the Holy Spirit to teach us.
Yeah.
And you know, we have the same book that they have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so we have to do our due diligence.
Right.
If we are Christians, because everybody's not. So you do what you want.
I think the question
Because the
she was
ones
asking.
that's trying to tell you something are the ones that's not actually practicing what they're trying to tell you now.
And I think that's why a lot of times they don't talk about it at all.
Well, and I think what she was asking, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I think what Abigail is asking, because if you guys heard her earlier, everybody's at a different level. But so what I'm hearing her say is, how can she look to the church? Or is there a way that the church is someone, because she's going there, I'm not saying you, they're going there seeking help.
Yeah.
Okay. They're seeking help because that's where they've been told, hey, you got to get to church, connect with the church, connect with the body of Christ. Okay. So how can someone or how can the church help someone that is struggling in that area? Or is it something that the church?
I mean, I think
she answered it already.
No,
but go ahead and.
But no, but I needed to.
For
yes,
she's at her level.
Yes, at her level.
But I mean, just doing what you're doing, you know, speaking out about it, asking about it. And I believe that, you know, God would lead you to the right place. And that's why it's so important that
have a conversation
and talk about it. And then just pray and no formalities.
No.
Lord, I need you to lead me to the right church. Show me where I can get some answers about this because I need you to show me. And that's when God really started to minister to me, just me and him and no middleman. And he started to tell me like in the simplest ways for me to hear. I mean, nothing deep and extra, but a simple, God, I need you to show me this. Yeah. What is this about? Why are they talking about it?
I love you saying that. I love that because again, it's about you, where you're at, meeting God where you're at. Not someone that's here telling you to go do this.
Right, you do X,
you,
Y, Z.
you got to meet them where you're at.
Yeah.
And does that make sense?
Yeah. When I didn't come to understand the importance of it from church, because like I said early on, it was like, you know, just don't do this.
Don't do it.
And I just thought it was a punishment that was going to come. But honestly, walking with God through it, he revealed and like showed me the benefits of doing it. When I started to realize, like before I would go out on a date, I would say, God, you know, I don't know this person, but you do. So before I even get any emotions involved, like show me what I need to see so I don't waste any time.
Yeah.
And literally the discernment was like on 1,000. Like I would see stuff and it would be like, it could be something just small, but the Holy Spirit will highlight it like, see, that's what this person is operating out of. And it was like, okay, well, nice guy. Great time.
Just not a good
won't do it again. Right. But just when he started to kind of show me the benefits of it. And then also coming to him, not just focusing on, I want to stop having sex, just God, I want to be closer to you. I just want to have a more intimate relationship with you because, and I teach the ladies in my class this, like, we want so badly to feel close to this man when we've not really come to understand what true intimacy is. Like there's other forms of intimacy outside of sex. Sex is one form of it and it's beautiful, but you miss the relationship that I was in where I abstained. I remember my partner telling me, he was like, I've never been in a relationship without that. So it forced me to like get to know and do things in other ways and find other ways to love you. Like, and you don't get that. And another thing, when you and that partner separate, they will forever have a level of respect for you.
There you go.
Like they will forever have, I don't know how to explain it, but they just have a different level of respect. Like, no, that's a solid woman. Like that's a real woman.
Right. But they can actually see your true value versus being blinded
by
the fornication and the lust and stuff like that. And one thing I do want to say, just because I know sometimes I can talk very aggressive or just like, no, you're supposed to do X, Y, Z. But it's a process. It does not happen overnight. You don't just say, oh, you know what, I'm about to stop having sex.
Sanctification.
It starts with a relationship with God and him loving on you and you loving on him. And that takes time as well, because you have to ask God, show me how to love you. These are things you don't just naturally know, so it's a process. And during that process, you'll see certain things, certain desires you had, you don't have anymore. They just fall away. Like,
now, how much time do you guys spend in reading the Bible?
Oh God.
I do it every day.
I do. I have sometimes in some periods where it's a struggle for me to get back in it. And I have to like, come on, God, help me. But every day, usually, and then even if I'm not, I'm listening to messages and things that are continuing to pour in what the word is saying.
How about prayer?
Every day, all day.
Prayer is a necessity. So you guys are
lifestyle
seen some things that most people don't really get to see. Y'all seen some spiritual effects of what's taking place in your life, and most people base it on just feeling what they're going through. They just basing it on just a feeling that they have. They have not seen something spiritually, the spiritual effects that you guys have seen.
I think they probably have. They probably just didn't recognize what was going on.
You won't recognize it. You won't recognize it. And I do believe that there's an appointed time.
And that's why I say it's just a feeling for most people.
I think God will reveal that to you
if you ask it.
Well, I'll say for me, sometimes you don't. I think there is an appointed time, because for me, I was kind of dabbling, but I wasn't really walking with God like that.
But deep down inside of you was already yearning for the Spirit of God to intervene.
Yeah,
and something
but
was
I
inside
actively
of you.
in my life, I was not
conscious of that, or just paying attention.
So this just happened.
Yeah, this was a situation where God, it was like, let me get your attention.
Because you're not understanding.
Because you're not
you playing Russian roulette with your life.
It's like you have a knowing that God has called for you to do more. Like, and not in that sense, like, I know I'm called to be this. It's like, God, you keep being on my mind while I'm out here trying to do this. Like, it's just something in you. God gonna keep, nudging at you until he have that moment where he just snatch you up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you start having the spiritual attacks, when they start to intensify, and I think that God really allows that, because I'm a person who's very scared. Like, I'm scared of the unknown, stuff like that. That's my biggest fear, and why I don't have all the lights off and stuff until that unknown started to touch me. And started to lay in the bed with me, literally hovering over you. And I mean, I got off the phone, just got off the prayer call, but I know I'm still doing XYZ stuff. And I mean, that demon just on my back, literally. And I'm just laying in bed and I'm just like, I must be in bed with somebody. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because when you be in between sleep, and then next thing you know, it's like letting you know that, no, I'm here. And it's breathing deep in your in your ear and just hovering on your back like it's a man holding you. I said, oh my God.
And let me add that.
And can you get away when they holding you down?
No, let me add something. So in those cases with Christina and I'm sure other people have had those encounters. That's what's happening anyway. God just allowed that veil to be removed so that we can experience. No, this is what you open the door to.
Yeah, this is what it is.
Oh, this is good, y'all.
And it's
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. This show is gonna have to have a part 2 because it's really off the chain, and we're learning so much about this, and so many people want to. We got to get to the question and answers out there. We're already we got 15 minutes for this show have to shut down.
My.
It go too fast.
It does.
Yeah. So come on and give us these questions and answers out there.
Before we go to question and answer, I want to give a few quick shout outs.
Okay, come on, get a shout.
We have a lot going on.
Oh,
of course,
God.
we talked about before the candid conversation began, we talked about our bowling event.
Yes.
We've been advertising. It went really, really, really well. We got lots of good donations for the toy drive.
Yes.
To help fund our toy drive. So if you can put up something for the toy drive, we are still accepting donations until Tuesday, December 12th. And you can bring those by to 616 FM 1960 West, Suite 101. But if you can't swing by, you just don't have the time, we would love to accept monetary donations at lverinc.com. We have the QR code up there on the screen.
Yes.
We are accepting those donations. If y'all can get those in this weekend, because we have
going shopping. I'm going shopping. I'm going shopping, and I'm promise y'all gonna be so proud. You will see where your monies are going. So get it in. That link is so easy. As soon as you guys go in there and you click on the link, it's gonna take you right to the donate button, and you just donate right there. Trust
just scan the code right there.
You can scan it, or you can go to the link. Just go to lverinc.com. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm wrong. I got so many websites. That's it. Thank you, Aaron. Abigail.
lverinc.com to make a donation to the toy drive.
Yes.
Of course, we also have our LV with Val radio station. We have some shows that I want to highlight. So, of course, we have our Tasteful and Toxic with Brother Carter as our host, Mr. C on Tasteful and Toxic.
Also, they put the link in the chat. Click on that link. She just dropped the link in. Thank you, Aaron. She just dropped the link to donate. Go ahead and click that button while it's there.
Tasteful and Toxic is on the LV with Val radio station. You can download the LV with Val app or go on lvwithval.com and to listen to our radio live. We have live shows, music 24/7. Tasteful and Toxic is Wednesdays at 8 a.m. We also have VK Career Conversation.
Yes.
Which is every other Monday, the first and third Monday of every month at 8 a.m. We also have Anna, our lovely, one of our coordinators.
Yes, she's amazing.
She has a show called Empower Hour, and that's every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. And then we have a new show that just launched he was on the show last week, Mr. Doc Amy, called Clothes in a Dream, every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so I just wanted to highlight some of our
And we have some more shows coming up. Stay tuned for the new year. The new year, we're busting that door wide open.
I might even have a show coming up.
Baby, everybody got something to say.
I may have a show coming up.
There you go. Yeah. I'm serious. Everybody got something to say. I'm serious because I do believe that God didn't open his door just for us. He opened the door for all of us. And because if you have something that you want to pour in to someone else outside of yourself, this is the platform you want to be a part of. Yes. So with that being said, let's go to question and answers. Yes.
So earlier in the show, Terry Beck asked, what makes you guys hold on to yourself in difficult situations?
Oh, good question, ladies.
The fear of God.
Oh,
for me. And just to practice that discipline, like you feel good. You're more edified when you withstand from doing something. I don't think I said the wrong word.
No, just you and Brother Carter say words that people figure it out.
We know what you meant.
We know what you meant. Yeah.
See, when I read the question concerning the topic, it says, what makes you guys hold on to yourself in difficult situations? And I would say I stop holding on to myself. Holding on to God.
Okay.
You want to bring some change in here.
Holding on to myself is what got me in trouble.
Right.
Come on now. You got anything to say to that?
No, I mean that's
it. Period. Okay. Next one.
Thank you, Terry.
We have one more. It looks like we have one more question and then more comments after that, but we
Okay.
can kind of touch on. Brendy Murphy on YouTube said, "Is there any negative side of over encouragement towards people?
Yeah.
Like if you're over encouraging somebody."
absolutely.
I like that question. So you say absolutely, and why?
Yeah. Because sometimes people want to sit and need to sit in, the thing, or just need to be heard. And just give them a moment.
Give them their space.
Let them be
Yeah.
Job for a second.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we need a little time to lament over
Mhm.
the
I like that you
situation.
said let them be Job for a minute, because when Job came out on the other side, he was blessed far greater than what he was when he went into that state.
Yeah.
So just sit in it a little while.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
And
that.
trust the process, trust that God is going to help deliver that person, or bring to them whatever you're trying to bring to them through your encouragement. Trust that God is going to be God to that person. So I understand what that's like. So sometimes I have to tell myself, no, step back and just pray on their behalf, intercede for them, and watch God show up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because over encouragement can be negative, have a negative
Put too much
effect.
pressure on a person,
Right.
To feel like they can't just feel
What they feel.
There's glory on the other side of suffering, but suffering is a part of the process.
That over encouragement can come off like you beating them upside of the head.
And
so to
judgmental.
speak,
I like
I
that.
think it can go into enabling and entitlement as well. Over encouraging somebody can have that kind of negative response too.
I actually go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to read more comments, but if you have some.
Well, actually, go ahead and read the comments, because I want to. Well, let me go ahead and do it. I really thank you guys so much for your comments and your likes and your loves and your subscribing. But I do want to say this: in 2024, I want to do something a little different. If you guys could, in this comment, give us in this show in the comments chat, give us what topics you want us to discuss in 2024, in the upcoming 2024. Let us know what you want us to talk about, which guests you want us to be returning guests, which guests you guys really enjoy. This is your show. You guys are a Carter crew. We want to do what makes you happy. So please give us some feedback. Let us know. We do read the comments. We don't always like we're supposed to, but we're going to get better in 2024. We're going to get better at responding to your comments. We tried on air. It'd be so many.
Yeah.
And I know it's only going to be more, but what I want us to do is we need to get the feedback from you guys.
Yes.
Y'all better put me and Tierra name on them.
Oh, they threatening the people.
comments.
Please put Tierra and Christina. They say they're coming back
You
2024.
guys can comment on any of our YouTube videos. I read every single comment.
Mhm.
You can also, if you want to kind of go more in depth, you can email us at info@lvwithval.com.
Mhm.
If you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, we are more than open to that kind of feedback and
Because 2024, when I tell y'all, just wait, 2024, we got some
new stuff.
We got some new stuff coming for you.
It's in the works. We're not waiting, like Tierra said.
But it's in the
working on
work.
it.
It's
That's
already
just the
working.
launch
It's
date.
it's just working out. Go ahead. Let's read some of these.
So, Betty S. Step from Facebook says, if you don't want to start a relationship with them, then don't even start flirting with them. And that was her cut the crap.
Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Okay. Stop playing.
Time waster.
Grow up.
Jessica Choice says, we have got to guard our gates. Be intentional about what and who influences you.
Oh.
She also said, we have to realize sex outside of marriage is a sin that draws us further away from God. It's more about getting closer to God than it is about not having sex.
Oh, Lord. Hello. Hey, Jessica. I don't think I've ever seen. Is that?
That's my bestie.
That's one
She's
of
been on here before.
She has. Hey, Bestie. I love profound women and men. Thank you. That's so profound. Hello.
And then this is the last comment I think I'll read for right now. It's from Joyce McRae. She says, what makes you guys encouraged to do so many good stuff? You guys are like a hope for someone else.
That's nice.
Oh, read that one more time. I want to hear that again.
What
Thank
makes you
you.
guys encouraged to do so many good things? You guys are like a hope for somebody else.
I think thank you so much, Joyce. I'll speak for myself. The reason I enjoy it personally and why I want to do it is that I was a broken person. And I know that God has healed me. And I know that healing came from helping someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you do anything that you do outside of yourself for the betterment of someone else, oh my God, you know that God's hand is in it, and it's only gonna make you feel better, and it's definitely gonna make that other person feel better. So,
Yeah.
I like what Dawn said.
And sometimes you just, you just get tired of the same routine, and you get tired of, bumping your head and failing at doing the same thing, going around the same cycle. And it's just like at some point you just give up and say, okay, God, you can have your way.
You can have your way.
Or I want better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you say, Brother Carter? You want to answer her question?
No, I was just reading Dawn's comment out there.
This is the last comment we'll read, and then we'll go into the final thoughts.
Yes.
Dawn says, you want us to choose guests for the next show? That's more tough than a riddle because all of our guests are so sweet and lovely.
Oh, Dawn, we love you. Thank you so much. Dawn, that's amazing. That's amazing. I thank you so much. And I really have to agree with you. I think we have really been blessed with some amazing guests on the show. And of course, Tierra. And Christina will be back. Okay, what is it time for our final thoughts? Okay, I guess I'm going to start with Christina. Yes, I'm going to start with you and ask you what do you feel about the show? Obviously,
the show was amazing, and like I say all the time, I just love the safe space that we have here, even with the audience. Just to be vulnerable and just talk about your experience, no judgment, and then we just learn so much from one another. Just sharing our experiences, even when in the comments, and they'll say things, and you just learn, and I just love that. I appreciate it. But my final thought would be, just sit with God, or just ask a question to him, and reevaluate some of the things that's going on in your life, and really pay attention to it, and decide if that's something that you want to stay or something that you want to leave. And if you wanted to leave, just tell it to God and trust the process. Everybody path looks a little different. You may not look like the next person, you may not look like my experience or Tierra's experience, but trust the path that God has for you, and trust the process. It's a beautiful thing. Change can definitely happen, and God is able.
Ooh, what are you looking forward to in 2024?
Being married.
Oh, okay. Speak that thing. You know what? I love that you put that out there.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm going to stand in agreement with you.
Thank you.
If it's God's will.
If it's his will.
All right, then, Tierra, final thoughts?
I always love coming up here.
Look in that camera and tell the people.
I always love coming up here. And I feel like the show is too short.
Okay.
Always gotta leave them wanting more.
No, but I always love coming up here. Y'all have a very great, warm, welcoming, and I don't know. Every time I come in here, y'all have me telling my business way more than I planned to tell.
That's God. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Well, y'all let them rest in here so that when I get in here, I just be babbling all my business. But I guess my final thought
that's
is
that comfortability that we give you, right?
Yes.
You just get so comfortable, it just come out.
Telling all your business on the first date. No, but I guess my final thought is God is loving, he is kind, he is patient, and he wants relationship with you. And so just draw near to him, and everything that needs to be removed, it's a painful process, parts of it, but everything that God does in and through you is for your good, even when it does not feel good, and nothing that you give up for Christ is anything that is worth keeping.
Oh, yeah. Mic drop. Okay, Anna, any final thoughts?
Well, I would say that remember, decisions like these, they're a process. I myself have been dealing with this process maybe I think 4 years. 4 years is when I started thinking that
for real, girl? You stay quiet over there? You've been over there dealing with celibacy too?
Yeah.
And you stay quiet? Yeah, see, that's why we're going to have a part two.
Because the stories are so good. My heart was like beating. I was like, wow, I can't believe that these ladies have gone through this, and it's been so amazing for them. And it really is a process. It's a challenge. It's you going back to God. It's you. I'm gonna be honest. And a few weeks ago, I was in a situation. I went to go meet somebody that I had no business meeting when I went, like, after meeting them, like, wow. And then I came back home and I was upset with myself. because I felt like I should have seen that before even meeting them.
Mm.
But sometimes you have to meet them in person.
You gotta you gotta go outside and
that,
trust what God has
and
built.
trust. And then I came back home. I was upset, and so I started praying. I even cried. I said, I give up. I said, I give up. I can't keep putting it in my hands like it's in my hands, because it's not.
Oh.
And so I had to pray about it. I cried about it, and I let go. I let go of the process and just trusting now. I'm stressing. And
all righty then. So that
Yes.
tells me that this show touched your heart today. You enjoyed it. Okay then.
yes.
Don't sit quiet on something like that again. I'm just kidding. All right.
Part two.
Part two. Abigail.
Yes. So my final thoughts, obviously, me and Miss Carter coordinate the show. So I kind of have a little bit, I always think I know what I'm expecting, but it always goes a different direction. And this is a conversation that I think a lot of people need to hear. I think a lot of, it does require discipline. And I think a lot of people lack that. And I really love that, you ladies came in here and are encouraging people to practice that discipline without making people feel shameful or like that they're doing something wrong. Because that is not a good way to encourage people.
Right.
So this was a really needed conversation for myself, for Anna, and I think just for a lot of people out there, whether it's something they're considering or not, it's at least puts things into perspective and helps them look at things maybe in a different way.
I actually want to come back and do a part 2 of this one, because this is a conversation that it's just not something you can just have a snippet of it. It goes much deeper, and I want us to go much deeper.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about this more on Tasteful and Toxic.
Well, I guess that see he wants some of this. So we're gonna take this over to Tasteful and Toxic. Y'all want to catch the part 2 of it? Let's go the raw and uncut. Check out Tasteful and Toxic. Brother Carter, your last thoughts.
Last thoughts. Like everything that you ladies have presented today on today's show. I'd like your final remarks talking about turning them to God, and whatever you want to do in life, whatever you want changed in your life, if you ask God, He is capable of doing just that for you.
Amen.
So be careful for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving in your heart, let your requests be made known unto God, and He is the one that can make the difference in your life.
Wow. All I can say, great, Brother Carter. All I can say is this show exceeded my expectation. I knew that it was going to be good. Abigail, we knocked it out the park. I knew it was going to be good, but it exceeded my expectation. And you two ladies are the right ones to be sitting on this panel, because you were so transparent. And I think that where people make a mistake at, they want to come and talk, but they want to hide themselves. Well, you can't hide yourself if you're doing something to help someone else. I know that people's lives were changed, or at least the conversation is open now, that they will feel comfortable to ask questions. So I thank you guys for tuning in to the Love and Victory Show. I've seen a lot of my family out there, friends tuning back in. I want to give a special shout out to my wonderful neighbor, Cynthia, next door, and to my sister-in-law. Hey, Deborah, I love you. I'm glad to see you back on this morning. And to all of our Carter Crew family members.
Can I just do one thing?
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. To all of the Carter, new and old, you guys give me so much. It's almost like you guys give me that push that I need sometime to keep going. You guys let me know that you see me, you hear me, and you're here for me. So thank you guys. I really mean it with everything inside of me. I love each and every one of you all. Whatever you need, it's in your hand. You have the ability to make a change in your life. And I'm going to let Brother Carter have the last words.
Okay. We talked about abstaining from sex today, but there are some other issues that we have in life that you also can abstain from, which, and as I listened to the ladies talk, I was kept reflecting on when I was on crack cocaine and I had that same demons and inspiring me to continue in that sin. And so you can rid yourself of those desires. Again, if you just trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean to not your own understanding, because I think we often get in trouble because we try to
Do it
depend on
ourselves.
on our own
We can't
thought process,
right.
And our own thought process keeps us in trouble. So trusting God in all things that we say and do.
All righty, Brother Carter. You just wanted to make sure that you came back and said that again, huh?
I had
Trust God. You had to say that again. I appreciate that.
I mean, that's the difference maker.
I'm not, no shade there. I really appreciate you coming back and closing out with that, because it's so important that we don't lean to our understanding, but we lean to God's understanding. To all of you amazing people, we had over 13 in the chat. And I tell you, you guys have shown out on the likes and the love. We appreciate you. Until next week.